Hi guys, I'm Jess with Big City Baby, where I talk all things baby with a focus on city life. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a review of the Kiinde bottle system. So today we have a little bit of a scenery change. We're in my kitchen. You may be here because you're doing a lot of research as you're building your baby registry, as I did, looking for the best bottle or the best system for your baby. So I kind of stumbled upon the Kiinde bottle system as I was building that registry, and I was really intrigued by the promise of less cleanup, less bottles, and less hassle. So I went in and I did a lot of research about the system before I went ahead and registered for it. And I'm so glad I did. And I'm telling everyone and anyone who will listen that this system you need it in your life, and it will make life with a newborn so much easier. So for some of you who may not know, the whole idea of the Kiinde system is that you don't really use traditional bottles. So as of course a traditional bottle is simply that, a bottle that you pour milk or formula in order to feed your baby. And the idea of the Kiinde bottle system is that you don't use a bottle, and instead you use a bag, and you're feeding your baby milk or formula directly from a bag. So what this does is it leads to less cleanup regarding all the bottles that obviously pile up if you're feeding a baby from a traditional bottle. And it also promises less lost milk due to not having to transfer your milk from bottle to bag to bottle. So what exactly does that mean? Now, if you're exclusively breastfeeding your baby, obviously you're not even concerned really about bottles. Eventually, for many of us, we have to think about the idea of a bottle, whether it be because we're going back to work or we want a little bit of freedom and we want someone else to be able to feed our baby. Whatever it may be, you may need a bottle, and you should probably register for some bottles, even if you plan on exclusively breastfeeding, just to have on hand. I'm a full-time working mom, and I knew I was going to be going back to work. And I was hoping to be able to exclusively breastfeed my baby up until 6 months, which meant that after the 3 months was up, I was going to have to pump when I was at work. I did have to actually exclusively pump when I brought Leia home due to some latch issues. Eventually, we ended up breastfeeding and bottle feeding, but in those first few weeks, I exclusively pumped. Not only can you feed your baby directly from this bag, but you can also pump directly into the bag. Now, when you're ready to feed your baby that bottle of milk, you would take that bag and you would warm that bag however you normally do, whether it be underneath the faucet, which is what I did 99% of the time, or in a bottle warmer. Take this bag of milk, which I filled up with water, and you would insert it into this cavity. And I don't know if you guys can see there, but you can see that there's a latch right onto that bottle. And there's also a latch on these bags on either side. And you would just go ahead and snap it in. And once it's snapped in, then you're good to go. And all you need to do is remove the screw on the top and insert the nipple. So the nipples come in these little containers with a bottom and with a top, which makes it really easy for travel or for storage. Usually I always have one of these in my diaper bag, and I just know it's clean and ready to go. But all you do is you just take this bottom off, and then you can see the actual nipple is in here. So you can see that the nipple is literally like a silicone nipple. It's exactly what you would expect it to be. And this is the part that's gonna snap in. So you can take it, you could insert it in like this, but I tend to insert it in with the cap. And you just simply unscrew the top, take the nipple, and snap it right in. And then when you're ready to feed the baby, you take the top off and you're good to go. Now, these nipples come in 3 different flows, which if you guys don't know, when you have a newborn, you use a slow flow. And then as they get older and they get more aggressive with their eating, you increase the flow of the nipple. So we've used every single flow, slow, medium, and fast, because Leia is now 7.5 months old and she's still using this system. And they all work great. Really, the only difference is the size of the hole. Now, what I think is really cool is the fact that you can pump directly into the bag. So if you look here, I have my manual pump here. Now I filled this bottom guy up with a little bit of water because we'll be using that in a little bit. But you can see that this is just a normal traditional manual pump. I also have an electric pump, the Spectra pump, and this system works with that as well. You go ahead and you pump directly into this bottle. Now with this system, the system comes with a number of different adapters. You can see here, I have 3 different adapters, but there's like 8 that it comes with. I'll include a link to the actual system so you can see all the different adapters that it comes with and all the different pumps and brands that it works with. But in my research, I found that the list was extensive, and I found that it works with nearly every kind of pump. So what's cool is, instead of using this bottle, I'm gonna take this guy off, and I'm going to use the Medela adapter. You go ahead and you take this adapter and you twist it just right into the bottom there. And now I can put my bag right onto here. So I just unscrew the top, take the bag, and screw it right onto the bottom there. And then you're good to go. So then you can go ahead and pump directly into the bag. Now this was huge for me when I went back to work, because when you go back to work and you have to bring that pump bag, you know, one less thing is always welcome. So to not have to bring, you know, one of these bottles, or if you have an electric pump, 2 of them, and you can simply just use this, I mean, it's an absolute lifesaver. And also too, I should mention that it comes with multiple adapters for each brand. So if you have a double electric pump, it will work for that as well. Now what's really exciting about that is that when you pump directly into the bag, not only is that less cleanup, but it's less lost milk as well, because I'm pumping directly into the bag that I'm going to feed directly to my baby, because this will then go into the refrigerator and then eventually go into this cavity. I love that it's way less to clean, and I love that I'm never going to lose any milk. On the topic of cleaning, literally all you have to clean when it comes to this bottle system is the nipple. And it comes with actually this little nipple brush, and literally all you have to do is obviously some soap and water, stick this in here, you know, and just twist it to clean it, clean the rest, and you're good to go. Now that's huge. I know that maybe bottle cleaning doesn't seem like a big deal, especially if you don't have a baby yet, but it is. It's a little bit of a nightmare, and you'll quickly learn that once you start to clean your pump, because cleaning a pump is also a nightmare. There's a ton of different parts, and you really have to make sure it's clean, obviously, because milk can go bad very quickly. So one less thing to clean is huge. And also not having to clean this is a big deal too, because now I just have to clean my flange and the little pieces inside. Another thing that I love about the system is the bags themselves. So if you look at these bags, you can see that they look a little bit different than maybe a traditional Lasino or Medela bag that you are used to seeing on the shelves. The biggest difference is the screw top. Now for me, the Lasino and the Medela with the Ziploc thing, now I get that they work. I mean, millions of women use them every day, but you know, for me it just felt a little flimsy, and especially as I started to pump and I had to use the communal fridge to store my milk, I was just really nervous about things spilling or pouring out, and I never ever had to be worried with this guy. This screw top is so secure, and this bag just feels a lot more secure and a lot less flimsy than some of the other bags that I had to use in an emergency situation. So honestly, even if I didn't use this system, I feel like I would still use these bags because they're just so much more secure. And you know, even though it is a little bit more plastic, it is all recyclable. So from an environment perspective, I still felt okay with it. And another thing I wanted to mention that I love about this system is that it's very, very portable and very travel friendly. If you're out and about during the day, you can literally just bring a couple of these bags, stick them into your diaper bag with an ice pack or in a little cooler, and literally just bring this and a nipple, and you know that you're good to go. You don't have to prepare bottles. So I know a lot of people who have had to do that. You have to prepare bottles as you're going out or as you're traveling. This made it really, really simple. Another big win I find is actual travels. When Leia was just shy of 3 months old, all took a weekend trip to Washington, D.C. She was exclusively breastfed at this point. Now, we were out and about all day, and I can't tell you how simple and easy this system was. We brought bags of milk in a little lunchbox with an ice pack, just like I said, and we just had to bring one of these. We brought one cavity, one nipple, and I brought one little brush. And what I would do is when I was done feeding her, I would use spring water and I would rinse out the nipple. This just made it so much easier. It was so much less to pack. It is extremely travel friendly. I do want to talk about some of the cons, because with anything, there are always a couple cons. Sometimes people find that it is a little bit difficult to understand exactly how many ounces are in a bag. Now that goes really for any bag. So when you're storing pumped milk, whether it be in a Lasino bag or a Medela bag or a Kiinde bag, sometimes it is a little bit difficult to understand the ounces. But when you take that bag and you pour it into a bottle, whether it be plastic or glass, usually it's much easier to see the exact amount of ounces. Now, because you don't have that step, you don't have that luxury of being able to do that. So you have to trust the markings on the bag. Now, I don't really find this to be that much of an issue, to be totally honest, especially in the beginning with breastfed babies. You're really just supposed to feed them until they're not hungry anymore. So for me, like if it was 3 ounces or like a little bit over 3 ounces or a little bit under 3 ounces, like for me, that wasn't that big of a deal. But I can understand that if you maybe feed your baby formula, or if you're, trying to get them on a schedule, that might be a little bit more difficult. Now I'm gonna show you what that looks like. So for example, I have this bag here, and right here I have about 2.5 ounces of water in this Medela. Now, I'm gonna take this water and pour it in here so you guys can see what that looks like. Okay, so you can see that the bag is not opened because it's not that much water. Now, if I had poured in 6 ounces of water or milk, it would open up the bag, or 4 ounces or 5 ounces, because the weight of the milk or the water would open up the bag. Now, because it's not that much, it's not gonna open up the bag. Now, I poured in 2.5 ounces, like I said, but based off of this, with the bag unopened, it might look like it's 4 ounces, which it obviously is not. So I could see how that could be confusing. Now, Kiinde has released actually some videos, I think you can actually find some on YouTube here, where they show you how to properly do a measurement. So I've been doing that, and you can see you have to open up the bottom and kind of go like that to the sides, just to let it settle a little bit. Now you can see that it's saying that it's about 2.5 ounces. Can you guys see that there? Yeah. So, now we're kind of pretty much right in line with this Medela. Now, I can see why that would maybe be a little bit confusing, but once you get the hang of it, it really isn't that big of a deal. At least it wasn't for me. So another thing that could be a little bit annoying that I do like to tell people is if you do formula feed your baby or you supplement, it could be a little bit more of a hassle because there is, in a way, an extra step when you're formula feeding your baby from the system, as opposed to there being less steps when you breastfeed. So as we talked about, it's a screw top, right? So you're not using a bottle. If you're using a traditional larger bottle, like this, let's say, or most bottles even have a wider opening, when you're scooping your formula in, it's really easy to do. You just scoop it in. It's like a cup. It's not a big deal. But when you do it with this thing, it's a little bit of a smaller cavity to have to fill into. So Kiinde has actually released like a funnel system that you can use, and I actually bought that system. And this is what the funnel is, and you literally just pop that right in here. And it's nice. I mean, it's pretty solid, so it's better than a normal funnel. And then you can go ahead and scoop your formula right in there. Again, not a huge deal, and in my opinion, the pros still outweigh the cons because you don't have to wash a bottle, but it is an extra step. So just to keep that in mind, you would have to do that, fill your water in, close this cap, shake it up, and then, stick it in here. So just another thing to keep in mind, if you are planning on also formula feeding your baby. And the last con I do want to talk about is cost. The initial cost of this system is very affordable. So I got this entire system, which included 2 of these bottle guys, I believe 2 to 4 nipples, a couple of these wash things, all the adapters, 50 bags to get started with, and I also got the bottle warmer, and the whole system, I believe, cost $100. Now, if you don't get the bottle warmer, that system price drops down to $50, which I would actually recommend doing because I actually never use my bottle warmer. So until you're living it and you understand whether or not that's going to be part of your lifestyle, I wouldn't recommend getting a bottle warmer off the bat. I found that warming a bottle under a faucet was much easier. Now, when you think about how much bottles are, if you buy 2 Comatoma bottles, you're looking at $25. So 4 of those would be around $50. So to me, this system is around the same price, if not a little bit cheaper in the long haul. Now, another thing to talk about is the cost of the bags. So if you're looking at a box of 50 or 40 bags, Elastano bag is around 24 cents a bag. Now, the Kiinde system is a lot more than that. It's around 37 cents a bag, which over time can definitely add up. Now, the thing though that I do want to note is that there is always a sale on these bags. While these bags are around $14.99 for a pack of 40 at Bye Bye Baby or on Amazon at any given time, I find that on a monthly or a bi-monthly basis, these are 50% off on Amazon. I typically spend $7.50 for a 40 count, which drives the price down to 19 cents a bag, ending up being the cheapest bag actually out there, cheaper than Lacino and cheaper than Medela. As a comparison, I do tend to check Lacino and Medela bags, and they are almost never on sale. At the end of the day, the cost, yes, maybe once or twice you might have to run out and buy these bags and you're gonna pay a premium for them. But if you plan ahead, or if you have Amazon Prime and you can get that in a day, you can stock up and get 6, 7, 8 boxes and pay way less per bag than you would for any other system. Okay guys, I think that's everything for this review. If you like this video, I would really appreciate if you would give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe if you would like to see more from me. I do everything from must-have videos to product reviews, and I would love for you to subscribe and join the Big City Baby community. Until next time, bye.